Hey guys, welcome to the last part of Merps' 5-part video series on how to get good in the arena. Congratulations if you've made it this far, and thank you for watching, by the way. But in this part of the video, we're going to talk about how specifically one gets better at the arena, because you can apply a lot of the mechanical skills and thought processes that we laid out before, but improving is still a very vague concept that I think is hard and sometimes very frustrating for people. So let's go through the truths. These are things that people just have to digest because a lot of people don't look at these and face the facts. You are exactly where you should be. What does that mean? If you're averaging 4 wins over a decent sample size, you are a 4-win player. If you are averaging 5 wins, you're a 5-win player, 6 wins, etc. There are exceptions sometimes, but you're probably not it. You are not that special. I am sorry. I appreciate you guys watching the video, but this is the first step to improvement, where you recognize it's fine to be where you're currently at. You just have to accept it. Everyone gets dealt the same cards on average, so you just need to accept it and accept that there are ways to get better. And improvement will come. It will come through persistent, active effort. If you want to get better, you will get better. There are tons and tons of examples of leaderboard arena players who started off just not knowing what to do. There was a time when I averaged less than 3 wins a run. Now, that was many, many years ago. But everyone starts from somewhere. Additionally, improvement is not linear. And this is probably just the truth for a lot of things in life. Improvement is not linear. You will not be slightly better tomorrow than you are today. In fact, you might bomb tomorrow. But that's fine. Improvement will come over long chunks of time as long as you put in that persistent active effort. Do not be discouraged if perhaps during a few run sessions you just find yourself being frustrated by subpar results. It happens to everyone. Alright, so how do you actually get better? What are your tools for success? This is once again where I use thelightforge.com as a plug. Haha. But other than that, you want to track your runs. This is very helpful. When you track your runs, you not only see your improvement, you see some things that you might not have noticed. Because when you're looking back, you might notice, wait, I do really poorly with this one class. And then you can look at all of the drafts all together, and then you might look at, okay, I do poorly with this one class, but there were actually 2 runs in which I did well. All the other ones sucked. So in these 2 runs, what was different? And you might look at it and see, oh, okay, I drafted more early game, and maybe maybe what was holding me back when I was using this class was just not drafting enough early game. That's important. It helps you keep stock of what you're doing and how you can potentially improve. Use other people. And there are many ways in order to do that. So number 1, do a co-op with someone. Preferably someone close to your skill level. And what you want to do is be able to fully explain your plays to them. It forces you to say, I want to do play X because this is the reason. I don't want to do that because of that reason. Because a lot of times when you just play yourself, like, you don't really think about these things. You don't ask the right questions, and you sort of just default into plays because they're there, and you think that a lot of options are the same when they're really not. Additionally, what you want to do is use other people online as a resource. Arena HS, the subreddit, is a very active community. You can go on there, you can ask people about your plays. If you post replays that you have, you'll find lots of very experienced arena players happy to help you out and give you some tips. Lastly, this is a very valuable resource, but watch streams actively. So you can find some arena players on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, whatever platform you want to use. But when you watch them actively. And what that means is before they do their turn, or if you're watching a video where you can pause, before they do their turn, think about and ask yourself those questions in video 3 and video 4, and then think about it and decide what you would do, and then see what the streamer does. It's very important because if they do the same thing, then it means you're probably right. If they do something different, then you should ask yourself, well, why did they do it differently? And this is where it really helps, because if you're in their stream, you are able to ask them on the spot, hey, why did you do this instead of doing that? That's really helpful. And what you want to do during this time, if you're watching a stream of someone who averages like 7 or 8 wins and is just really crushing it during that specific meta, just assume all their plays are correct. It's not going to be correct, but for the learning process and for you to get better, assume all of their plays are correct. Because if you, at this point that you're at, start questioning, it's like, well, I don't think that was correct, and this is the, you're taking away from your potential to learn by nitpicking what they do. So if your average is significantly lower than the streamer that you're watching, they do something different, even if you don't think it's correct, assume that it is correct, and then think about, why did they do this? Because a lot of the times it will be a play that you really didn't consider, and their view of the game state is different than yours, and that's something that you need to get better at. All right. The journey to infinite. I want to talk about generally, and I lumped into 3 broad buckets, what it looks like to get to infinite, and what you should be focusing on if you're at this win average to try to get to the next level. So the 3-win player is your average player. And I think that if you are just thinking about the game, you understand the game, and you're trying to ask the questions that I laid out in the previous videos, you can be at least a 3-win player. So if you are currently a 3-win player, your goal is to have a better understanding of yourself. And that means better understanding of your turn, better turn planning. Just focus on, what do I have in my hand? What are my options? What's the best option for me to play this turn? Don't think about making reads. That's too much right now. If you have a better understanding of your own deck and you play your own deck better, almost without regard to your opponent and making reads for your opponent, you will eventually get yourself to a 5-win average. Once you get to 5 wins, that's when you want to have a better understanding of the opponent. If you're at 5 wins, you probably have a decent understanding of your own deck. You probably have a decent understanding of what's good, what's bad for you to play on a turn. But rarely do 5-win average players make decent reads, or sometimes even make reads at all. And this is where you want to really focus on video 4 and incorporate those skills. Now, once you have gone past that threshold and you become a 7-win player, so this takes a lot of experience, a lot of self-reflection, and a lot of just, knowing the game. What is your goal here? How do you get better and jump from just a 7-win player to a leaderboard player, if they still have leaderboards, or just one of the best players in the world? What you want to do is dig deep into meta-analysis now. Now notice, this is when I finally talk about meta-analysis. Like, this is where it's really, really important for you to understand, not just generally, okay, well, this tribe of minions are very prevalent. You want to understand, okay, in this class, these 5 to 10 cards are the most important, and therefore I need to play around these cards on specific turns. You're going to need stronger risk assessment. times in which the 5-win player will identify, it's like, oh, this is easily, like they go through the risk assessment and they say, okay, well, play A is better than play B. But the 5-win player might see two options and be like, well, this is kind of 50-50. You, as the 7-win player, if you want to get better, you cannot identify that as a 50-50. You need to identify that as a 60-40 or a 55-45. That's important. That is where you really differentiate yourself and you squeeze out those extra wins. And that comes from better reads. A lot of that comes from you just processing the game better. You understanding the game at a higher degree. You think faster. And by doing that, you are able to get better reads, and that leads to a stronger risk assessment where the 5-win average player might think of it as a 50-50, but because of your stronger risk assessment, you understand it as a 60-40. And that adds up over time. Okay, that's basically it. We have spent an hour talking about this. I have talked a lot. I enjoy talking, if you guys couldn't tell. But good luck on your journey. Hearthstone's fun, man. It's a fun game. It challenges you in unique ways, and honestly, have fun. Because it's not just a game. What you want to do is not just enjoy the game itself. You want to enjoy improvement. That's part of the fun. Getting better at things and learning should be fun. So if you ever find yourself getting frustrated, take a step back. Take some time off. Come back hungry, come back wanting to learn, come back wanting to improve. And if you're ever in doubt, come back to this video series. I strongly urge you to rewatch at least the part 3 and part 4, because I believe that is the core of Hearthstone Arena and Hearthstone in general. If you guys have watched this entire thing, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Once again, my name is Merps. You can find me along with Adukta streaming on twitch.tv/grinninggoat. If you have any comments about this video series or the arena in general, you can tweet at me at Merps4248. Good luck in the arena, guys.